Yo, back with another episode, Four Quarters Podcast. I'm D Hump. I got my guy with me.
What's up? What up, man? It's your boy Smids.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, we got to start off with, in my opinion, the game of the year that we've been to. And we've been to a lot of good games. We've seen the Molars, the Elders. We've seen the Olentangies. We've seen some great football, but there was something extra special about the Winton Woods Anderson game. And what's crazy is I wasn't hip to Anderson until about 3 weeks ago. But I kept tapping in the football sites. I kept tapping in the social media, and I keep seeing Anderson. I just keep seeing these guys. I'm like, who are these cats? So we got a chance to see him this past week. And man, Smiz, I mean, I guess before we dive all the way in, man, can we just get your opinion on that game in general?
That was probably the best game we went to this year. Yeah, nice atmosphere. Cincinnati, so it's kind of you. But yeah, it was a tough game for real. For real. I don't think we went to any bad games, but this
Mm-mm.
one probably was the best as far as competition, competitiveness. Final score was 37-30 Anderson. It really actually what came down to it. I think Anderson got a late turnover when
Mm-hmm.
Winton Woods was driving, and they kind of just milked the clock at that point. Um, but yeah, man, definitely, I would say probably the best game we attended this year with two
For
two of the
sure.
best teams in the state as well, Division
For
Two.
sure. Oh man, I just want to say, like, even though Winton Woods didn't win that game, I was so impressed with those cats, man. Like, it was like the combination of speed and aggressive football. Everybody was hitting at all levels. The DBs was hitting, the lineman was hitting. They caused so many first or forced fumbles in the first half that I really didn't think Anderson would come back. I didn't think that they would be able to rally because that quarterback was under pressure. And one of the main guys that was getting back there the whole game was a 5'9" defensive end. I think he was number 2020. He was super short, man. Just kind of seeing how they play ball, I just got to tip my hat to those guys. Even though they did not pull it out, that was a lot of talent. That was an exciting game.
Awesome.
I want to shout out a couple players. I'll start with Anderson real quick. Jordan Davis, the running back. I don't know if you knew this, Smiz, but not only did he have 3 touchdowns, 78 yards on the carpet, but he also caught 8 catches for 101 yards. I mean, this dude was everywhere, man. Another side note, just to talk about him just a little bit, he has an offer from Kent State, Miami, Toledo. Um, Crazy out there for a guy that talented to only have Mac off, bro.
Yeah, he explosive. He explosive. But that quarterback, man, that's the guy.
He's the one.
There was a lot of talent spread out there just on both teams and both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. It was just talent everywhere, speed everywhere. Yeah, it
For
was
sure.
a tough game. When Woods was up, what 14 or 7 at one point in that
Yeah,
game? I
so
want to say
yeah,
what
for sure.
halftime.
Yeah, I want to say at one point they were up 23-10, right? So they're up and they're killing because basically when you break that game down in that first half, with the exception of maybe the last 3 to 4 minutes, it was totally dominated by Winton Woods. They were too fast. We saw Anderson's offense. They had a wicked offense. They had great movement, good receiver movement. The running back was a stud. So whenever he was able to get the ball and make a play, but for whatever reason they couldn't get over the hump, and it just looked like Winton Woods had too much athleticism. They reminded me so much of Springfield maybe 2, 3 years ago in their prime, where that defense doesn't give you anything. And at the same time, like I said in the beginning, man, they caused probably 3 or 4 forced fumbles.
Yeah,
And they
I think
had
they had a pick too. I think a
they had
lineman
a
got a
pick.
pick too.
Lyman got a pick. I mean, it just looked like I'm like Anderson cannot touch these boys, man. And it was making me think like, damn, man, Springfield and Winton Woods went toe to toe. So I'm like, hey, man, these guys must be really tough. But what ended up happening is it's like Anderson just everything just started to turn around. That quarterback was seeing the field. He was running. Man, he's a stud, man. He's one of the best that I've seen. And when I look up his stats look incredible. He's got
Crazy
3,500.
stats.
Bro, he's got 3,500 yards on the season right now with 33 touchdowns and 7 picks. Man, that's like NFL Aaron Rodgers, you know what I mean, type numbers. You know what I mean? Like he's going crazy right now.
Man, receivers though, they didn't drop. They only had one drop pass the whole game, and I think that came in either like late third quarter or early fourth quarter. Them receivers was catching everything.
Well,
Mitts
yeah,
though, like they
yeah,
wasn't hitting
no.
pads.
Oh man.
Them
Yeah.
was all hands. Like I was really impressed with Anderson's offense, but it's crazy because Winton Woods' defense was so crazy in that first
Correct.
half. Like you said, it really looked like it was like the tale of two halves because Winton Woods came out a completely different team as well as Anderson. And Winton
Mm-hmm.
Woods' offense was, I mean, they
They
got a
look great.
running back that was shifty
Woo,
as hell. Like there
woo.
was one touchdown. I was like, what? Like how?
Talking about Isaiah Garrett.
And I want to say, didn't he return a he was on kickoff. I don't think he was the one that returned the kickoff,
He
but
probably
he
got
probably
consistent
almost
over
had
time.
like 200 yards returning
Yeah,
kickoffs because I mean he was going to the 50, to the 40, to the
right.
other 40.
Hey.
I mean, I don't even know why they was kicking it to him at that point because every
I
time
mean,
he touched
yeah,
the ball, he made them happy.
Smiz, that's a great point because that was the first time that I saw where I'm like, they should not kick it to Winton Woods at all. Anybody. You're talking about the Isaiah Garrett guy who's the running back, but then they got the other guy, Joneer Travis. He's the one that ran the kickback. And it got to a point where it was like, hey man, kick it out of bounds. Like, do not kick it to anybody on that team, man. It's
And they
crazy
kept
over there.
kicking it to him though. That was the crazy thing. They kept kicking it to him.
I'm talking about averaging 40 yards a return, 50 yards a return, multiple people. I want to shout out the Isaiah Garrett guy, number 21, that you brought up, man. This kid, he reminded me of a skinny Barry Sanders. He was so, his lateral movement, the foot movement, the cuts. By the way, Bowling Green, Kentucky, or Kent State, Maryland, and of course, the team up north, yours truly, Michigan.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, he was tough. I want to shout out to the quarterback. See, this is what makes this game so impressive because on both sides of the ball, you not only had incredible talent because we've been to quite a few games and seen incredible talent on both sides of the ball, but this was probably the first game where I seen incredible talent on both sides of the ball get loose and did not. It lived up to the hype of the game because the quarterback for Winton Woods, who's 6'6", uh, is also a stud. He didn't really go crazy that game, but you saw his ability to run. You saw his ability to pass. And, another guy, another Kentucky offer. Kentucky is all over Ohio. And I don't
For
know what the
sure.
connection is, or is it because we're so close? They are all over Ohio right now.
Have been for a while now, too.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Um, I want to shout out another cat because you mentioned the receivers for Anderson, and I agree, man. I was outside of Elders receivers, that's the best receiving core that I've seen.
For sure. For sure.
Be- yep. Because like you said, when they caught the ball, it was all mitts. I mean, they were catching, it wasn't none of this right here trying to gather. It was straight hands
For
on the rock,
sure.
bringing it in. You know what I'm saying? Good yak game, the whole 9 yards. And the guy, this cat named Cooper Kaufman, he had 10 catches for 93 yards. Now, that tells you a lot because we didn't really see crazy explosive plays. That was more what Winton Woods was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Anderson was getting up the ball 10 yards
Just
at a time.
grinding it out.
They was grinding. Now, you did see Jordan Davis, the running back, get some big plays, but when you see a cat, catch the ball 10 times for only 93, he tearing that ass up. Excuse my language. But he
No, that
getting
back was
7, 8 yards. Yeah.
having
Tough.
him wheel routes and little dink and dumps. He was killing all game with those. And then when he got the ball, like there was a few plays to where I know he scored a nice lengthy touchdown, but there was
Hmm.
a play to where he probably got it, and we thought he was gonna get tackled on the sideline, and boy took it to the crib, and it was like he just hit another level and
So
was like, pew! Like
yeah, so that was crazy because when you look at this guy, he's a junior, and he's really a Mac. He's really only got Mac offers, and it was interesting because we saw this kid and we're just doing the eye test and we like, yo, who is this dude right here? Because like you said, he was not only shifty, he was not only strong as a runner, but he had real breakaway speed. I mean, he hit the corner on Winton Woods and he was gone on a very fast team. But what's interesting to me, and I know me and you had a lot of side conversation about this, was that he is only getting Mac offers. And you and I caught a good friend who's probably one of the better players that had come through here, really in the state. I mean, this guy was a freak of nature, and he broke that down for us in his opinion why a guy like this Jordan Davis, who's so impressive to me and you, but maybe only getting Mac offers, man. And I thought that was kind of a crazy point that he made that night, bro.
nah, yeah. I mean, it kind of broke things down in perspective because you kind of it ain't a knock, but like as far as Ohio kids, when we hear about them getting recruited and getting offers, they're always Mac. Like they start Mac, and then the bigger the kid is, it'll go Power Five. But I mean, he basically just said, a Power Five kid when you see him. It's no ifs ands buts about it. But after the Power Five, then it's the conferences, and then he basically said the MAC is kind of like a top
Sure.
non-power five conference. So it's
Yeah,
like
he put a
you
lot of
might
respect
look
on
at it
Mac.
as like, oh, that's the
Hmm.
MAC, but he like, no, that's I mean, there really ain't too many other conferences that ain't power five that's bigger than
Right.
the MAC.
They get
So
they get busy over there, and they send a lot of guys to the NFL. I mean,
hmm
you look at a guy like what's my man's name? He was the edge rusher, outside linebacker, went to Buffalo. Diesel dude with Khalil Mack.
yep.
Woo! That's a Mac guy. So, obviously Ben
Roethlisberger.
Roethlisberger. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, they got some real life ridiculous Hall of Famers that
no, for
came through
sure.
there. So, and I think another point that he made too, because that wasn't the first running back that we had saw that we were like, man, who is this dude? Because which we'll talk about here in a minute, we went to the Olin Tangi Upper Arlington game the week before and
Yeah.
saw a stud running back who also, I think he had an offer from Yale, but just one offer. But another point that our guy made, shout out Big Matt, was when you start dealing with Power Five running backs and playmakers like that, he's like, these guys, if they touch the ball, they can score. It doesn't matter if it's a run play, a catch. These guys are so dynamic when you start getting these Power Five running backs, these Power Five offensive threats. They can touch it, and it's all over. And it was funny because I sent you that video from Marshawn Lynch in high school, and you just watched that. You just okay now I see what he's talking about. Okay,
I
okay,
mean,
yeah,
then you done seen clips of Derrick Henry. I what he didn't. I don't
man,
even think he was playing like the third, fourth quarter or something like that. Like they
right,
had a rule to where he couldn't even play. So like
yeah,
who
you can
undeniably is
tell,
just
yeah, all
one of
cap,
them
all
guys.
cap him, yeah. Another guy that was on Anderson's squad that we didn't really get, he didn't really make a lot of noise. And this isn't really taking anything from him because, you're playing a very high offensive team when you play Winton Woods. But there's a guy on Anderson who's a linebacker edge, and I believe this guy's a junior, man. I want to double check just real
Yeah, he
quick,
is
man.
a junior.
So you got a junior on Anderson who's a linebacker edge. He's about 6'3", 6'4", this cat named Antoine Higgins. And he's got offers from Alabama, Arizona State, Arkansas, Auburn, and I want to say Bowling Green, or
Yeah,
it
the
might be
dude
Bowling
said
College.
everywhere. He said he probably just ain't got Georgia at this point. He said that's like the only one he ain't got.
Right for now. For now, yeah, you're right. And that BC was actually Boston College, not Bowling Green. And from what I can see, I do not see the Georgia offer on this guy. I see Georgia Tech. I see Indiana. I see your man Michigan. They thirsty.
Let's
Ohio
go,
State,
man.
Oregon, Penn State. This guy's a stud. And when you saw his frame, you could just see it. Like
But yeah, he ready to play. He ready to
he's
play on
ready to play.
Saturday for sure. For sure.
Somebody is going to get him and say, "Hey, let me show you how to do this real quick. Let me show you how to play at this next level." And they're going to fashion him up to a monster, man. That was an
They
impressive
probably game plan for him. No, I mean that was a. I'm
true.
pretty sure he big,
Yeah,
a big part of their defense. So they probably game planned him. Like I said, I mean, Winton Woods played a perfect game up until they didn't. And I can't
man,
take nothing away from Winton Woods, but you also got to tip your hat to Anderson because at
they
one
came
point
back.
in time we was like,
They're about to
man, we
leave.
about to
We
feel
ain't
me.
supposed to get up
So
through.
it was like I want to say I think Anderson got the ball back at halftime, ended up scoring to make
Yeah,
it 23-17, and then it was kind of like back and forth after that. But yeah, man, that Anderson is
tough, man. Tough.
man,
Max
if
Prep
I
got
gotta
a
say
number
it,
three.
they definitely gotta be one of the best teams in the state,
Man, I'm
regardless of
telling you,
conference. Regardless of
regardless.
conference.
And man, and that's why, again, man, I'm not trying to keep bringing up the losing team, but it's just like it was sad that somebody had to take an L that night. That's how good the football was that night.
No,
That's
for
how
sure.
exciting it was. Like, damn, somebody got to lose tonight, man. Couple things about Anderson. Like I said earlier, they're number 2 in all of Ohio according to Max Preps. What's interesting is that is the first time that they beat Winton Woods at Winton Woods since '02. It's been 23 years. They never ever win. And last year they said that they won at Anderson, and that was one of the first times they ever won. And I read an article about it. It said the coach was basically like, "Hey man, we're just grateful to get a win over here." They never beat Winton Woods at home.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
But talking to the fans though, they said these last 3 to 4 years that Anderson kind of they done turned into to a little
well,
nice little
powerhouse.
squad. They
Yeah.
lost in the state semis last year to Avon, is what
So
they said.
they actually were runner ups.
Oh,
They were
to
runner ups
Avon.
last year.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So they went to the game and lost.
So
So
I'm pretty sure a lot of those kids that's on that team got to taste that. You know what I'm
man,
saying? That
yeah,
state run. So they probably hungry and ready to get back there.
yeah,
And for
and
what
they're
they done
primed up.
showed, they probably there. They probably
Yeah,
ready. They
yeah.
probably
No, they're
ready.
primed up right now, man. So I'm excited to see what they have going on. Let's transition a little bit. Let's just talk just briefly about Olentangy. I know it's been a couple weeks.
Orange. That was
Uh,
Orange. Olin Taylor, Angie,
Olentangy Orange and
Orange
up.
versus Upper Arlington. At
Yes.
the time, Upper Arlington only lost one game, and Liberty. I mean, not Liberty. Orange was undefeated.
Mm-hmm. It
Another
was
good ass game, though. Another good game.
Woo, man. I
And
mean,
what was the
yes.
score to that game? I want to say.
I think it was a
Uh,
fairly close game because we
Hold on, I'm
left
about
at
to
the
look
very
that up
end of the
right
game.
now. It was kind of like they was just running the clock down at that point.
And what's interesting, as you're getting that score, is Upper Arlington kind of reminded me a little bit of Anderson in the beginning. They had a very crispy, short passing game. Upper Arlington had a nice quarterback. Um, I can't remember the guy, but I think they had a bruiser of a running back. Or was that Olentangy that had the bruiser?
That was Olin Tangy with that running back.
Okay, but Upper Arlington wasn't no slouch, man. That's like, they wasn't necessarily like a Winton Woods, but Upper Arlington.
28-14.
Okay, yeah, but for the most part, it was a pretty good game. I think they might have scored a late touchdown to kind of seal the deal, but for the most part, that was a really good game. I want to highlight that game just a second because To me, after we saw the game before Olentangy, if I'm not mistaken, was Moeller versus Elder. Is
No,
that correct?
Saint X and Moeller. Saint
Saint
X
X,
and Moeller.
Saint X and Moeller. It was either Saint X and Moeller or Saint X and Elder.
Saint X and Elder. No,
Okay,
no. Moeller and Elder. I'm
Moeller
gonna
and
be sure.
Elder. Okay, so we go south of town to Cincinnati. We go see Elder and Moeller, which was the Cincinnati Showdown, right? And we was already kind of on the Elder bandwagon. We just kind of had a feeling that Elder was going to do that, and Elder did. They're tough. We've seen Elder what 3 times this year. Well, I think you were with me too. We went to see him in Springboro. So we leave
Yep.
the Mo Elder game, which is like damn near the epitome of high school football in this area. Then the following game, you like, hey man, we got to go to Columbus, man. It's time. We've been spending too much time over here. We've seen the best at the GCL, the G Walk. Some of these, Southern teams have to offer. We need to go. We need to go up north. We need to go east. So we run over there and we watch Olentangy, or excuse me, we watched the Olentangy game first, which was crazy because at that point I'm telling you, I'm like, hey dog, I think Olentangy that's the best team I've seen. And you kind of like,
No, they
man,
definitely was. They was. It was. I ain't gonna say like shocking or like don't believe the hype, but like I said, we follow a lot of high school football pages. But 270, that it was on 270 a lot.
a lot, yeah.
I'm just like, man, we got to go check it out and just, no offense to nobody, but just that week, just Southwest just didn't really have nothing interesting to go watch.
Mhm.
So
Right.
we definitely went to Central Ohio to check out, and I mean it wasn't disappointing. Like I said, it was a 14-point victory. All in Tangy, Orange is serious.
It's serious business.
Both sides of the
Both
ball,
sides of the
both
ball.
sides of the ball.
Like whatever you want to do, it's real serious over there. I'm
The
so
running
excited.
back though is serious for
Oh
Olentangy Orange though.
my
He's
God.
serious.
And that was my point with the running backs from last week is that we are seeing 2-3 weekends in a row stud running backs. And we're like, where are these guys going? And they're like, oh, he only going here. And it's like, damn. I'm like, well, if he going there, who y'all looking for? Oh my goodness. Like,
For
that's how I
sure,
felt
man.
about Olatunji's run. He was kind of like, I don't even know how to describe him other than like a bruiser running back, but he had a little finesse to him if he needed it.
One
And a
thing for
hard
sure, two
runner.
things for certain. You wasn't taking him down. Like he the definition to keep them legs chopping. Cause like
Yes.
he
Oh
needed
man.
2 or 3 cats to take him down each time he had the ball in his hands because he just wasn't laying down. Like you had to actually tackle him, and he wasn't going down first contact.
Kind of like little Marshawn Lynch vibes. Kind of like what was my man? He had a very short stint, D'Amico Ryan. You know what I'm saying? Not too many cuts, but he was strong and fast. You know what I'm saying? He
No,
was
he definitely was nice.
yeah, he was tough, man. So,
And
and
their quarterback was decent too.
they had no weaknesses out there. And I'm telling you, they beat a good Upper Arlington team, bro.
Yeah, they
That was a
did.
good game, man,
I
because
want
both
to
of them
say
teams
Upper
were tough.
Arlington's offense really couldn't. They
Mhm.
offense really couldn't hold it down. I mean, the defense kind of did as much as they could, but as far as like they was just out
They
on
got
the
to move the
field too
ball.
long. Yeah, they
Yeah,
was
they
just out on the
couldn't move
field
the
too long.
ball, man. Yeah, couldn't move that ball at the right times, and Olatanji was wreaking havoc, man. So I would say, man, just like you said, man, I think that team was as good as advertised. That's 2 weeks in a row that the scouts got it correct. Olatanji is fire, and Anderson is tough, tough.
They probably could make a deep run though. D1,
I
Liberty.
do, yes,
I
I
mean
think so.
Orange. I'm sorry.
Right. Well, I think what it is they've got all the elements, and you and I know as much as high school football as we've been watching over the years, the quarterback is always the question mark. Like, how good is the quarterback? You know what I mean? If the quarterback's there, you got a chance. And Olatanji's got a Division I quarterback who's also a basketball player. I love when I see that. I'm like, oh yeah, he's a stud. When I see him
Yeah,
be
he
able
going
to
to OU, right?
yeah, yeah. You see that level of athlete at a certain position, and then you find out he might be a hooper. It just brings a different element to his game. And then they got the running back, they got the
I want to
receivers
say
out
they
there.
might have had a receiver or two.
Yeah, they
Um,
did.
too.
Yeah, they did, man. They had some tall guys out there. They had some studs, man. You know what I mean? That was an all Ohio top 5 team in my opinion. I
For
called them
sure.
top 3 immediately because I just need to see what they could do against a team like Elder. I need to see what they could do a team like St. Edwards or somebody. Um, let's transition a little bit, man. I know that they've been very down this year, but let's just talk a little bit about the G Walk, man, if you don't mind, man. It
Last
was
week, man, one of the
yeah.
worst weeks in G Walk. You got Springfield losing to Fairmont 10-7. We could dive into that here in a minute. And then you got Wayne losing to Beavercreek. Um, Now the Springfield Fairmont is not a shocker to me because it's just always one of them games that come down to I don't really want to be that guy, but refereeing, we just got to keep it real. Um,
Every year.
and I mean, last year it was a fumble on the goal line. They called it a
Yeah,
touchdown.
right.
And then there was a complete pass that Springfield was driving on, and they called it incomplete.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
uh,
That was wild.
but like we said, I want to say on the pod like 2 or 3 weeks ago, like you know what you're getting out of Fairmont. Now, I didn't watch the game. Normally, we kind of like watch the games on our phone when we're at other games, but I didn't watch none of that game. But just Springfield scoring 7 points is just ridiculous. I mean, you go from scoring 40 against Wayne to 7 against Fairmont. And I want to say they kicked that field goal. What with time? Like it
Yes,
was
they
almost
did.
at the end. Like almost at the end
Right.
of the game. Like I
If
don't
if
even
I'm
think
not
Springfield had a
mistaken,
chance.
if I'm not mistaken, Fairmont also missed a critical field goal. If I'm not mistaken, I feel like I pulled up my phone when he was at the game and they missed one, and that's why I was kind of confused. I'm like, okay, it's still 7-7. And then later
So
on, obviously they lost by 3. So
yeah,
I
that
don't know, man.
Springfield loss was. And granted, they'll still win. I think a share of the G Walk, but they were on a 4 or 5 game win streak. They just beat the number one team in the conference. I know those guys was on a high, and I
Yeah,
just wish I had more intel on that game to know what went wrong, other than the obvious of, I mean, Fairmont had to control the game, but it was like, what was it about Springfield's offense that night that couldn't get it
right,
going against Fairmont?
right. That is the conundrum. It's like and they play each other every year. And we've talked about this on another episode where, and this was 3 weeks ago, bro. This is when Springfield was just starting to start their streak. I think they was 3-0. And I remember telling you, and I'm like, Smids, I don't understand for the life of me how a team like Fairmont gives Springfield so much trouble when since we were in high school, what they're about to do, the type of play they're about to play. It don't matter who's in, who's out. The guy Logan Doty didn't even play.
And that's another thing that got me tripping because he the he's it. Like that's it.
Yeah,
That's Fairmont
that is
football.
Fairmont's offense right there. Yeah.
So for him to not play and y'all lose is like, so who was
Oh,
eating? Who was
who?
eating out there for
Well,
Fairmont?
I think Smith, you asked the $1 million question. The $1 million question is how does Fairmont stop Springfield? Fresh off a 35-point win, a 40-point win against Wayne, 4 or 5 weeks in a row, shutting everybody out, scoring 30 plus points, except for Springboro. They had a good game with Springboro. But how does a squad like Fairmont, who predominantly runs a zone, there's not a lot of speed, there's not a lot of athleticism, there's a lot of no name nobodies out there. but they beat Springfield almost every year. I don't get it, man, and
I
it
don't
makes me
like it.
mad.
And I
I
know
don't like it.
I know that coaching staff be pissed off about it too, because it's like I'm pretty sure the scouting report is like probably like 2 or 3 plays. I'm not. I'm
Mm.
sure it's not a heavy
Yeah,
scout. I think it's more discipline than anything, because if we got to keep it real, Fairmont discipline is hell. I mean,
hey,
you got some ties to Fairmont football, so you kind of know, like, they're not a program that really care about winning. They just want you to do the right thing.
for sure,
They
for sure.
If you supposed to be guarding the running back, they need you to be on the running back. If you supposed to be blitzing, you supposed to be blitzing. I mean, they just discipline. It ain't really a winning thing there. Now, granted, they be scrapping out wins, but
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
they're not known for winning.
they're not,
Like, that
man. They
ain't
gotta
really. They're not making no deep runs and no playoffs. They're not getting no
no,
studs. They're
no.
just, hey, I'm in high school. I play football, and that's it.
I'm gonna give him my all. You know.
Yeah.
No, so the coach over there, man. They run a real disciplined program over there, man. I mean, it's pretty much what you just described. Everything is very regimented. They practice it over and over again. They don't, like you said, they don't got this deep playbook of different options, but they do the few things that they like to do probably better than anybody. You know what I mean? They really execute what they need. I would argue if that coach could take that same program and actually be around, and this is no knock to Fairmont because they compete every year, and I'm a person that would say if their quarterback from last year doesn't get hurt, I have them beating Wayne in that what was that, the Elite Eight before the state, or beating Centerville. I got them
Uh,
beating Centerville because I like that quarterback over there. I like what they had going on last year. Now they probably was going to go to the state and get smashed, but that's not the point. You know what I'm saying? The point is they was going to go to the state. If I'm saying they don't typically have a
they
lot of
wouldn't have
talent.
beat Wayne though. They wouldn't have beat Wayne, because that's who
How
Centerville and
Yeah,
Wayne played to go to state last year. I don't
but that's
really
what I'm
think.
saying. They could have beat Centerville though. That's who they would have. They Centerville had to beat them to get to Wayne.
Okay,
That's what
okay.
got them to the Elite Eight. And I feel like last year Centerville was most beatable, and that Fairmont, that Dan Brock Baker, I'm telling you, they would have won. But my point is, if that coach could take that same discipline and somehow be around more talent. In high school football, that style of play will still get you a lot, especially if you mix in some throws. Because
For sure.
if you recall London, shout out to London, Ohio, who I believe is also undefeated. They're saying that is exactly the same style that they run.
Yeah, I
But
don't
if
know
you got
nothing about London,
personnel,
but
yeah.
them being undefeated, I guess it do say a lot. I mean, undefeated, undefeated. So,
Well, what I'm saying is like in high school football, you can get away with that style. if
no,
you
for
got
sure.
if you've got the right athletes. And what the one thing that they do have over there, and I don't know how they do it, but they got this zone over there that seems to stop
Speed.
speed. It's ridiculous how they do it. They literally are tailor made to absorb speed and high flying offenses. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're like a crazy, ridiculous Olentangy or like a Moeller. Not to segue too fast, but St. Edwards beat Moeller 35-10. FYI,
Yeah, yeah. I think
Moeller's down
I
this
ain't
year
gonna
for sure.
say really it's a down year for Moeller. It just ain't that year, and
Mm-mm.
that's cool. I know it sucks because last year should have been that year, man. And
Woo!
oh, like, I know that quarterback, like, damn, because I mean it's pretty much over with. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Unless,
Olentangy
you
Liberty
still got to play
was
the game. So
yeah. Olentangy Liberty last year. Not to jump around too crazy, but Olentangy Liberty last year was like it's like I came to like mess your day up. You know what I'm saying? I came to ruin everybody's bets. You know what I'm saying? All of Mueller's momentum, Matt Ponatowski, all the hype. We don't care about none of that. You know what I
No,
mean?
for
And that's what
sure.
they
They
did, man.
definitely they did that. But back to the G Walk, I think it might be over for Wayne, man. That Beavercreek loss is bad. That's a
Man,
bad loss.
something
That's a
happened to
bad
Wayne, bro.
loss.
Something
But
happened to
like I
Wayne,
told you
bro.
on the pod, I said
Yeah.
that loss to Springfield was either going to make them or break them. And they kind of might have had like a, I'm not gonna say controversial week, but
They did.
they probably had a lot of stuff going on because their star wide
Mhm.
receiver Jameer Brown,
Yeah.
him and his family sued Ohio
Oh,
high school
yeah.
for
Yeah.
the NIL. They happen to end up winning a temporary win right now. So congrats to that young man and his family on
For sure.
trend setting. So now a lot of those kids that leave the state because of NIL, they don't have to leave no more. Now, granted, I was reading something and they said it's only 1% of kids that's actually going to
Right.
be able to qualify for this.
Right. Right. Right.
But for the ones that can qualify for it, go ahead and get your money. So,
No, for sure.
congrats for that. But I don't have nothing to Barco from that game. I didn't see anything. I haven't talked to nobody, but it's just a bad loss. Period. Beaver Creek football is not good.
That's supposed to be an automatic win,
Yeah.
and I
So
want to say that might have been Beaver Creek's first win of the whole season, if I'm not
no, I
mistaken.
think they won
Oh
a
no, they
few.
won
I
three
think they
games.
won like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
had a few early wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Beaver Creek
Uh-huh.
typically is the bottom of the barrel of
Trash.
G Walk football, and that's no disrespect to
Trash.
them, but it's like that. It's been like that since I played. It's old. It's bad. But back to Wayne, something happened to Wayne, bro, and that Springfield loss. Really, and I can only kind of point to maybe the psyche or the heart because you're almost watching a different team now. The same team that was really hot, the same team that went up to St. Edwards and put 30, 40 points on those guys, even though they lost. You know, I didn't see Springfield beating them the way they did, to where they hold an offense like that scoreless. And then the following week to come back and get beat by Beaver Creek, something happened. Something's not right.
I
You
want to
know,
say, and this is just from us knowing how it is uh, between Huber Heights. I have to say it comes down to heart at some point because I mean if we just gonna keep it all the way real, it's like Springfield is way more rugged than Huber Heights. You feel me? And you got kids that's in Huber that's like they might want to be rugged, but it's a difference from wanting to be and is.
right,
And that's one thing, just like we said, just is it's a Springfield mentality is like heart. You're gonna have to you're just gonna have to beat me. We once we line it up, once we tie these shoes, put these pads on, you're just
mm,
gonna have to beat us.
for
Like
sure.
flat out. And what what Springfield did that game versus Wayne. Now granted, Springfield lost to Wayne last year. I want to say might have been a playoff game, like
Mm-mm.
36-14 or something. So this was
Did
kind of like a
they?
get back game from Springfield as well too. So it was kind of
Well,
like personal.
well,
It's a
yeah,
rivalry now too. So
right, right, right. Well, Wayne has always had. Well, I'll say the last so many years in football. No, let me rewind real quick. Wayne football has always been elite,
for sure,
since the '80s.
NBA,
Uh,
NFL players,
yeah, Wayne has
state
always had
players,
elite football.
a
And
few
another,
state runs. Never won it, but done been
yeah,
runner
that's
up
the state
before a
run.
time or two.
They ran into St. Edwards just like everybody else, right? But Wayne always has superior talent on the team. And the thing is, to your point, Springfield you know that you're dealing with somebody that's rough. You know what I'm saying? So every time you play them, doesn't matter. Centerville doesn't matter. Anybody, they know they're going to be cracking helmets out there every single time. But to your point a little bit earlier, Springfield got them this year, but we just never know when them guys step on the field because always Wayne has superior talent. Always Springfield has superior talent. And it's just one of those games that you just like, you don't know who's going to win. I am shocked that Wayne got beat by Springfield the way they got beat. I never saw that coming. I didn't know who
No,
was
for
going to
sure.
win. If anything, I'm all pulling from Springfield, but I thought Wayne was going to win. So to see them lose that game the way they did, it didn't turn around and get beat by Beavercreek. What is happening up there at Huber Heights right now, man?
Yeah,
Somebody, I
it's
need you to go get the scoop. Somebody tell me, email me, let me know what's going on over there in Huber Heights, please.
it's the wrong time for them to be declining as well because we're at
No,
week 10 right now. This is
right.
this is the
That's it.
final week, and you coming off two tough late losses after
Mm-hmm.
being one of the hottest teams in the area, possibly the state. You took a nice beating from St. Ed. Um, I want to say you took a nice little loss to Pick Central.
Central.
Um,
But it was a
so
good
and then you
game.
get into the G Walk, and Springfield always going to be tough, but you don't look at Beaver Creek as being a factor. Like
Never,
it's not even. I hate to say it, but it's kind of like
never. And we
career
mean no
night. It's like
disrespect.
a career
Mhm.
night. Like okay,
Yeah,
against we play Beaver
right,
Creek. I'm trying to go for 3 or 4 tugs. I'm trying to go for 200-300 yards. I'm trying to go for 3-4 sacks. Like you trying to get off. You trying to get some good college tape when you playing Beaver Creek. Put it that way.
right. You're going to stunt. Yeah. No, that's a fact. So I'm looking at the rankings right now, and what's interesting is I want to say as of last week before that game involving Springfield, Springfield was number 10 in the state. They were actually above St. X, which you don't see a lot, right? And and I think that's why I'm putting so much emphasis on this is that they had so much momentum. You're talking about a team that already had 3 losses. They didn't need another loss. You know what I mean? They
Didn't.
certainly didn't need another loss from a squad like Fairmont. So don't get me wrong, they can always hit the playoffs and do Springfield things. And next thing you know, they're in the state. But the timing was terrible for Springfield. The timing was terrible for Wayne. They were the only bright and shining stars from the G Walk. Springfield tries, but for whatever reason, they never can really get over the hump. And the fact that they both are kind of just spiraling right now, I wouldn't say that Springfield spiraling, but that was a bad loss.
Oh, for sure. And then Fairmont, they're competing in G Walk, but they're not making no noise in the state.
No, I'm telling you, man, and I'm not trying to make a case for Fairmont, but last year was the best chance that I've
You
seen that
low
they
key
had.
got a soft spot for Kid. I ain't gonna hold you. It's all good.
I'm just
People
being
don't need
real,
to know that.
man. Yeah, I'm just being real, man. They really had it last year. Now, don't get me wrong. Centerville won that what do they call that? Not division. Gosh,
District,
region,
region,
district.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
won that
yeah.
region.
Region Southwest.
Yeah, they won that region, and they went to Moeller, and we left at halftime because it was 50-0. So
No,
all I'm trying
oh
to
man,
say is that,
they got their ass beat.
whew,
That was a waste of a
oh,
drive, man. That was a waste of a
yeah, that
drive.
was
Waste of a sit in the
horrible.
cold. Everything.
Oh, that was horrible, man. Oh
Yeah.
man, bro. Well, I tell you what, man. I'm looking at some of these rankings right now. Elder's number one. You and I kind of knew that before this even came out. We
No,
saw
that's
all the
cool.
squads that you had to see, except for the guys up north. Anderson's number two. St. Edward's number three. Olentangy Orange is number four. What's interesting is Elder, Anderson, Olentangy are all undefeated. St. Edward's lost one game, but they probably lost to a monster stud. They still got Moeller. It's weird because St. X is ranked over Moeller. And if I'm not mistaken, Moeller beat St. X. St. X is this, they're kind of down as well. But then you got Moeller here at number 6. They've lost 3 times. They
St.
really like
X's
Mo.
offense is the problem. It's not their defense.
Oh,
It's
the
their
defense is
offense.
ridiculous. Yeah, it's the offense, man. Something's going on with the quarterback. Something's going on with I don't know. Lots of offsides, lots of penalties. Pick Central, Pick North's number 9, Pick Central's number 8, Pick North's number 9, McKinley's number 10.
Now that you
Um,
brought up Pick North, that's good because that's where we at this week. Pick North versus Gahanna Lincoln for the OC. I want to say it's for the OCC, whatever side they're on. I think it's for the title OCC championship. For that side, Pick
okay.
North.
Yeah.
What lost one game, one or two games, and I want to say I think Gahanna might have lost one or two games. I mean I'm thinking that's kind of like one of the best games that we could go check out as far as G Walk. I'm definitely not going to see nothing in G Walk this week. And the GCL they got a lot of away games. So
We've seen the
yeah, we
GCL.
back in Central. We back in Central Ohio this week, man. Checking out Pitt, North, and Gahanna Lincoln. And there's been a lot of praise on Pick North. There's been a lot of talk about Pick North.
Yes.
I think they went to
Yeah.
Elite Eight last year.
Mhm.
And I heard I got a little intel on Pick North, and they're getting their players back. A few players was hurt,
Ooh.
so I feel like from what I was told that they might be able to make another little run, or they trying to make a nice little run this year. So
Well, I've definitely
we'll,
heard
we'll
about
get
them
to see
all
them
year.
live.
Yeah, we've heard about them all year long. Their only loss is to St. Edwards. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the
St.
first.
Ed's, man, that damn St. Ed's, man.
So, well, first
But
of
it's
all,
good that these teams is playing St. Ed's because you basically know what you're gonna get late November. You know if you make it that far, the type of competition you're gonna be up against. So
two things I want to say. One, those rankings might have had Division 2 teams in there. Every time I look for the rankings, they don't. It's hard for me to find the only Division 1s, but I just want to say something about St. Edwards. St. Edwards gives me a vibe almost like Moeller gave me a vibe last year, where I don't see anybody beating St. Edwards. I just don't right now.
without
Uh,
any film or anything, you just going off
Without any
just
film,
what
I
we
would probably
seeing.
have to. I'm like, these guys sound scary, but we've seen Olentangy and they look amazing. You know what I mean? We've seen some very talented teams. Elder and Olentangy are two best teams that in Division 1 I've seen. Anderson is the best team I've seen in D2. Anderson is probably arguably the best team we've seen all year. Um, but the question is who can beat St. Edwards? Now, the reason why I said that they're giving me a Moeller vibe is because when you look at what Moeller did last year, we were pretty much on the Moeller bandwagon the whole time. And then Olentangy Liberty comes out of nowhere. And they were on the radar. We saw how they played against St. Edwards and had a big game, had a really good game against them. You know what I mean? We knew that they were tough, but we didn't know how good St. Ed's was because we knew they were a little bit down. So now I'm looking at this St. Edwards game. Could we see a situation where St. Edwards somehow makes it all the way back to the state only to lose to somebody we never saw coming? And I don't know who that is that we never saw coming. Either that's going to happen or St. Edwards is going to win them another state championship. What else is new?
What else is fucking new?
What else is new, man? So, anyways, man, you got anything else, good brother?
Man, just getting ready for the last week of high school football, and then it be playoff time. Winner go home. Pick North versus Gahanna Lincoln.
Gehanna, let's get it, man. Let's get it. Should be a banger. Because if I'm not mistaken, Gehanna Lincoln is not terrible.
Two lost team,
Yeah.
one or two
A lot
losses
of good two loss teams in the state right now, Smiz,
for sure.
for
And
sure.
there's a
So,
lot of good teams in that Central Ohio area, man.
I mean, it's just this is
So
so many
we get
schools.
wrapped up on the Cincinnati's and the Cleveland's and but that Columbus region, that
It's
Central
so much,
Ohio,
man.
you got to keep your eyes open for them because
Well, yeah. Well, you
They're at
saw what
least going to
happened last
have
year.
one or two teams that's going to be able to compete.
You saw what happened last year in basketball and football.
For sure.
If that
For
tells you
sure.
anything,
Central Ohio is reigning champs in both sports. So
right? Because if you look at the year before, and I'll close with this. If you look at the year before, St. Ignatius, Cleveland, St. Edwards, Cleveland. All
yes,
right, my
sir.
guy.
Until next week.